It was a cold night when the small yellow Persian cat, named Sol, was torn away from his home. Amidst a storm, a careless mistake left the door slightly open. Curious and innocent, Sol stepped outside to explore, but a sudden gust of wind slammed the door shut behind him. Suddenly, he found himself alone, crouched under the freezing rain as thunder roared in the sky. Frightened, he meowed desperately, hoping his owner, a young woman named Helena, would come to rescue him. But the storm drowned out his cries, and the world outside was not as kind as the warmth of home. Soaked and shivering, Sol tried to find his way back, but the streets were unfamiliar and full of dangers. Cars sped past, puddles washed away familiar scents, and eerie eyes of stray cats watched him from the shadows. Sol wasn't a street cat, his long, silky fur was now dirty and tangled, and his stomach growled with hunger. As the night deepened, he curled up beneath a car, feeling, for the first time, the bitter taste of loneliness. In the following days, Sol wandered aimlessly. He tried to eat scraps. If you want to know everything about the best care practices for your cat and how to strengthen your bond with them, don't miss the chance to get our complete digital guide on cat care. The link is in the description. But was often chased away. Fear began to take hold, he didn't know how to hunt, didn't know how to defend himself. Then, a group of teenagers laughed at the sight of him and, without reason, threw a can in his direction. The impact made him stumble, and he ran as fast as his small paws could carry him. When he finally stopped, he found himself in a dark alley, lying on the cold ground, feeling as if he would never see Helena again. But fate had not given up on him yet. The next morning, an elderly man with white hair and slow steps found Sol curled up near his small antique shop. He bent down with difficulty and, in a gentle voice, said, "Well, well. What do we have here?" With great care, he picked Sol up in his arms and carried him inside. Inside, the warmth of the shop embraced him, and the scent of wood and old books brought a long-forgotten comfort. The man, named Ernesto, dried Sol's fur with a soft cloth and placed a small dish of warm milk before him. For the first time in days, Sol felt a flicker of hope. Ernesto cared for Sol over the next few weeks, allowing him to recover. The cat started exploring the shop, sleeping on cushions, and even playing with bits of string Ernesto left for him. However, deep inside his feline heart, Sol still missed Helena. One day, while gazing out the shop's front window, Sol spotted a poster attached to a lamppost. His own golden eyes stared back at him from the printed picture. It was a missing cat flyer. Helena had never given up on him. Ernesto noticed the cat's restless behavior and followed his gaze to the poster. He picked it up and read the name at the bottom, Helena Morera, along with a phone number. Smiling, he said, "So that's why you always look at the door. You have a home, don't you, little one?" That very afternoon, Ernesto picked up his phone and dialed the number. On the other end of the line, a trembling voice answered. When Ernesto mentioned he had found a yellow Persian cat, the young woman let out a sob. "Sol. Is he alive?" The next day, the shop's door opened with the soft chime of bells. Helena stepped inside, her eyes shining with anticipation. And then, Sol appeared. For a moment, they simply stared at each other, as if time had stopped. Then, in a quick leap, Sol dashed into her arms, rubbing his head against her face, purring endlessly. Helena cried as she held him, whispering, "I never gave up on you." Ernesto watched the scene with a satisfied smile. He knew this had never been Sol's true home, and now, the little cat was exactly where he belonged. As Helena stepped out of the shop with Sol in her arms, the golden sunlight bathed the streets. Her small friend was safe once again. And, in that moment, everything was just as it should be.